Hi guys, Eric Rodabois, EPGD Attorneys at Law. We're doing a long one today. So what I want to talk about is if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Now this fits into a lot of categories. Unfortunately, I had a bunch of clients come to me to review the MJ funding. You guys might have seen it in the news. MJ funding was a Ponzi scheme that got taken down by the SEC. I guess I should say allegedly a Ponzi scheme. But basically, I was reviewing the contract and it looked too good to be true. They were promising returns that were not economically possible. And I told 3 of my clients, the 3 who asked me, not to sign it, and 2 of them followed my advice and 1 didn't. But that's actually not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Amazon e-commerce stores. Okay, so this is a very popular trend, and how do I know? Because in my little corner of the universe, dealing with about 80 people a week is my capacity for who I talk to. Out of that, week after week after week, I'm seeing this come up a lot. And the idea is this: these companies promise you that they will set up an e-commerce store for your business on, let's say, Amazon. Okay, and they often guarantee returns. And they often charge a lot of money. So I'm going to use round numbers here and I'm not going to name names. But for example, they will say for $25,000 flat fee, they will set up your e-commerce store and they'll make it turnkey, meaning they'll do everything, you don't have to do anything. And the idea is that they're oftentimes reselling common products. And what happens, unfortunately, is that there needs to be a steady hand on the wheel because someone has to be fulfilling all these orders. So for example, a lot of times they're reselling from Walmart on Amazon through your e-commerce store. And the idea is you're making a modest markup on all these transactions, but if the transactions aren't fulfilled, what starts happening really quickly is the customers will start leaving negative reviews or they will start asking for their money back and doing chargebacks. And then what happens is Amazon swoops in and they shut your store down because they say that you're violating their rules, you're violating their parameters, and you no longer have a store. So then you're like, wait a minute, I just paid $25,000 to this company. They guaranteed me all these fantastic returns and I don't even have a store now. I'm left with nothing. All right. And unfortunately, more and more, I'm seeing the aftermath instead of the before. So if it was the before, same as that other story, I would probably review the contract and I would say, listen, I'm very wary about this. There's too many moving parts. There's too many uncertainties. And anything that's guaranteed, I don't like. Okay, I just don't like it. Like, for example, think of the biggest uncertainty in this particular contract, Amazon. We don't know if Amazon is going to shut your store down or why they might shut your store down. And oftentimes they're very opaque. Remember, this is not a traditional business. This is a very new business and they have their own rules. And I'm not alleging that they don't enforce their rules evenly, but a lot of times it's unclear how they enforce their rules. What's the appeal mechanism? What recourse do we have? Are we going to sue Amazon if we disagree with their internal rule following procedures? Probably not. And so what ends up happening is the clients are coming to me and they're asking me to go after these e-commerce stores. Now here's the problem. You gave them $25,000. You probably signed a contract. That contract may or may not have an arbitration clause. It may or may not have a very inconvenient forum, right? So for example, if you're in Florida and you signed a contract that says you're going to go handle any disputes in California, that's inconvenient, right? It's not just a 6-hour flight and a three time zone difference, but you might have to hire a lawyer out of state, right? You don't have any friends there. You don't know anybody. That's an easy one. Or how about the contract will not allow for attorney's fees? So there's a lot of things buried in the fine print of that contract, which is why you should never sign a contract and give someone $25,000 without having a lawyer like me review it. Now, this is where, unfortunately, the rubber meets the road. So you come to me and you say, how much are you going to charge me to review this contract? I look at it, I say, somewhere on the order of $1,000 to $2,000, and you're like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Trust me, it's nothing, because 1, you're going to pay $25,000, which you might never get back, and 2, if you want to sue them after the fact, you're going to have to pay something on the order of 5 to 10 just to get started, right? Any good litigator is charging you at least a $5,000 retainer. And this is not the type of case that a law firm would do on contingency. And it's not the type of case a law firm would do on a flat fee. And if you find a lawyer out there that's willing to do that kind of case on contingency or on a flat fee, you need to really ask yourself, are they a good lawyer? Right? Do you want to have someone who just graduated from a bottom tier law school and can't find a job anywhere, so they open their own law firm? Or do you want a good litigator who is in demand, who charges a high hourly rate because they know what they're doing? And so going back to my first point, if you have a contract that seems too good to be true, maybe it is. Now, I also like to say, if you would get mad if everything went wrong. So for example, if losing $25,000 is the type of thing that would piss you off, then that means you should get a lawyer to review the contract in the beginning, right? If you don't care, if losing $25,000 doesn't mean anything to you, it's like watching your cryptocurrency go up and down, then, save your money. Don't get a lawyer. But don't be surprised if something seems too good to be true and it turns out it's not. Don't be surprised, right? And so, unfortunately, I have been on both sides. Now, I had this one case where I was actually representing the guy setting up the e-commerce stores, and his defense, and the guy's a decent guy. I talked to him. He's a nice guy. He just got a little bit in over his head because everyone wants to get rich quick. So when he came up with this, he realized, he's like, I know how to set up Amazon e-commerce stores, and I know how to find people willing to pay me $25,000. Put those two together, I've got a nice little business model. The problem is on the follow-through, right? The after, once it's set up, what happens next? So we're helping him, we're negotiating, we're trying to keep him above water. I don't want him to file for bankruptcy. And then on the flip side, we have, in fact, I think we have up to 15 clients who all found out about each other. I think there's like a Facebook page, and they all grouped together, and they're having us all sue the one company at the same time. And unfortunately, all 15 of them, not one of them asked the lawyer to review the agreement before they entered into it and before they forked over $25,000. So if you guys know anyone like that, please send them our way. Please, 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 if it's important, talk to a lawyer first. Thank you.